I've been thinking about it. I've been thinking about all the things you do.
Hey fellow foodies, it's Faye from faysfood.com, and today I'm going to show you how to make this homemade creamy tomato soup. So for this soup, we'll be using San Marzano tomatoes. I personally love them whenever cooking. I just find that they have a nice combination of sweetness and acidity. So you want to do this one can at a time, but you're basically just going to pour the can out into your strainer. You can see it's placed over a large bowl because we want those reserved juices. So we're just going to strain this for a few minutes, help it out with the rubber spatula, and you're just going to go in as well with your fingers and your hands and kind of just open up the tomato and take out the seeds as best as you can. It's not going to be perfect, just take out as much as you can, and then the remaining pulp you just want to push through with your rubber spatula. It will all kind of collect on the bottom of the strainer, so you want to make sure to get that as well. Okay, so just do that for both of the cans, and then basically set the juice to the side. So on our baking sheet, we have our tomato slices. Pretty de-seeded, and I'm just going to sprinkle in just a bit of sugar. We don't need too much, and we're going to bake this at 450 for about 30 minutes. You can see I have parchment and I greased it with olive oil, but you can always also use cooking spray. It's just going to make your life a lot easier to peel these off. But yeah, we roasted them, just going to bring more of that flavor out, and we set that to the side once it's done roasting. So now we can focus on the rest of the soup. So in the pot we have some olive oil. I'm sauteing some onions, and I sprinkled in some allspice. And you just saute that for a few minutes until the onions become translucent, and then you add in your garlic and you cook that for a few minutes, and then you add in your tomato paste. And we're going to cook that all together for a couple of minutes. Just give it a stir, break down the tomato paste as best as you can until everything's pretty much combined. And the tomato paste is going to really add more tomato intensity to the soup as well. So I'm going to cover this, and we're going to cook it on medium-low for a few minutes. And then you want to uncover it, and we're going to add in the flour. And we're essentially making a roux at this point. Roux is essentially a thickening agent made of flour and liquid, and yeah, so that's what we're doing here. And if you need a little bit more oil or liquid, you can use butter as well, but I definitely recommend oil. You can definitely add some more in, but yeah, give that all a mix. And we're just gonna cook the flour flavor out, so you only want to cook it for about 30 seconds or so. All right, this is all on a medium-low heat. So now I'm adding in the chicken stock. For those of you that have some on hand, go ahead and feel free to use that. You can also make this quick version, which is just some boiling water, a chicken bouillon cube, and about a 1/4 teaspoon of Vegeta all-purpose seasoning. So once your stock is in, you just want to whisk that in really well. And now we're going to add in that reserved tomato juice all at once, like this, and whisk constantly while you're doing so. And then you can add in your roasted tomato pieces as well. Just give it a whisk a little bit. So now we're going to cover this. We're going to cook it on a medium heat for like 7 to 10 minutes or so. We really just want it to reach a boil, and once it does, we turn it down to a low heat so that it can simmer for a bit. All right. And this is what it will look like simmering away. Now, you could use an immersion blender, but if you want a very creamy, smooth soup, there's a better way to do it, and that's with a blender, an actual blender. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to start by ladling out the soup. It's just easier than pouring it all out at once. a lot safer too. So you want to basically ladle your soup into a strainer over a large bowl. We're going to take those solids that we strained out and put them in our blender, and we're also going to put in a cup of that strained liquid in there as well. Alright, then we're going to cover this up and we'll puree it for about 30 seconds or so until it's all combined and it's nice and smooth. It will be hot, so be careful. Pour this back into your pot. I did give it a rinse just because I don't want any big pieces and chunks of onion or whatever in there. So you got your pureed mixture in there. Now you're going to put in the rest of your strained liquid in there. And give this all a mix so it can all be nice and combined. Alrighty. Now we turn it down to low and we can add in our seasonings. We're adding in some dried oregano, some red pepper flakes, some Italian seasoning, some paprika, and some salt and pepper. I do have measurements for most of the seasonings, but salt and pepper, you do want to add it to taste. Definitely recommend freshly ground pepper as well. Makes a huge difference. Right, so you want to give this a mix, again, just to combine everything. Alright, and now we're going to actually turn the heat off and we're going to add in our heavy cream. This is going to, of course, just make it creamier, a little bit lighter in color. Really makes a nice velvety, creamy soup, which is what we're looking for here, right? I tell you, I'm not a fan of raw tomatoes at all. Anyone that knows me knows that. But even if you're a tomato hater, you're gonna love this soup. So at this point, you do want to give it a taste and adjust the seasoning if you'd like. So you can definitely use grilled cheese to dip in this tomato soup. That's perfectly delicious. You can also kind of use a shortcut and use these Parmesan crisps to dip in your soup. It's really, really tasty. So like I said, if you're not a tomato fan, you will love this soup. If you are a tomatoes fan, you will love this soup. For the full recipe, go to facefood.com. Comment below if you have any comments or questions. Subscribe to the channel for more good videos on the way. And until next time, guys, I hope you have a wonderful day.
I've been reading you to figure what you're down for. I wanna figure out to make it come around. No, we should quit the game and settle things right here, right now. I've been thinking about it. I've been thinking about all the things you do. I wanna take you from